Hello everybody! So, OBS is still giving me a lot of problems. So, Googled it, can't figure it out. And I'm sick and tired of my computer overheating like a, how would you describe it? Never mind. Anyways, I will look for some more Frank Tufano stuff. I haven't seen anything in my recommended lately. A lot of the times that's how I get his stuff. But I also cleared out a lot of my search and watch history and stuff lately, so I'll have to search him up again. But in the meantime, let's watch this wonderful video. He's going to go downhill extremely fast, and I will explain how and why. Faster than most. I mean, all vegans are eventually going to go downhill. Very, very, well, quicker than a meat eater would, in particular. Like, I'm not saying meat eaters can't go downhill, but I'm saying vegans go downhill so much faster. Let's just get into this, and I will explain exactly why. You might even be able to pick it out.
This is 4 days of vegan meal prep, and every single day contains over 160 grams of plant protein and also meets all of your nutritional needs without supplementation.
You probably heard most of that word. Without supplementation. Yep. He's gonna go downhill so fast. So fast, especially fast. Vegans, they go downhill about 4 times the speed that meat eaters would, right? Because we only really start showing our age, I think, by, I don't know, our 40s, 50s. Vegans, by 10 years, if you're not in your 40s and 50s already by the time you are vegan, whoo.
B12, omega-3, iodine, everything your body needs to be a healthy.
No, you're not going to get any of it. You're not going to get any of that from this. Come on.
Vegan. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make it. You can download all these recipes, including their grocery lists, plus a nutrition breakdown by clicking the link in the description. Now let's get started. For this meal prep, there are 2 main things that we want to focus on. The first is maintaining a high protein intake. We're going to be shooting for at least 150 grams of plant protein per day. The second thing that we want to focus on is getting...
How do they not know that this plant protein is not absorbed? You would need, I don't even know how much. You need so much. It's not the same as eating meat protein. I could see him eating 150 grams of actual meats, like protein in terms of, that's not even very much in terms of meat, I don't think. 3 ounces, I think, of ground beef is like, well, from what I remember, it was like 15 or so. Well, yeah, maybe that'd be enough in terms of meat. But plant protein, you're probably only getting what? Like 4 grams of it? Or something like that. I'm not even gonna look up the absorption rate. I can't pause this. I don't even really know how to edit this properly, so this is just gonna be raw. So, sorry guys. But with OBS the way it is, I cannot edit, well, even with the other program other method I was using, it wasn't working out very well for me, like in terms of how you could do it, how you could record. You can only do it raw and full. Like you can't, once you pause it, I could stop the recording, I suppose. Anyways, back to this.
Enough micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals into our diets. For this meal prep, we have a 2,500 calorie.
Aren't vitamins and minerals also micronutrients? The macro ones are your fats, proteins, and carbs. But even your proteins are not good. The fats don't have all the things you need in them. And carbs? There's no essential carb. So, carbs.
Calorie target. So 2,500 calories is a good calorie target for the average active person. And
Not for a vegan. Not for a vegan. Anyways, calories are heat. Hello, do we really have to go through this? Don't make me get Bart K up here.
that is more of a maintenance calorie target. So it's not necessarily for building muscle or shredding body fat, but
Guys, I want you to know something. There are things I disagree with when it comes to Bart K. But I can respect him in the fact he's about the carnivore diet. We have our disagreements. I am more along the lines of agreeing with Dr. Berry and a few of the more open-minded carnivores. Bart K has his thoughts, and I don't agree with them. But it doesn't mean I don't, follow him altogether. There's just sometimes I can't listen to him jabber on about how bad liver is and blah, 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 when I benefit from it. I have seen so many benefits from eating liver. So I can't support him on that. So, yeah, sorry, Bart, but yeah, don't make me get Bart K up here and have him explain to you what calories are, buddy.
depending on your specific body composition, it could allow you to do either of those goals. But if you need some extra calories to build muscle, you can easily add those. If you want to take out some calories to focus on fat,
You need to eat so much as a vegan. 2,500 calories, that will only work. Okay, let's assume it works that way with calories, right? Calories in, calories out, whatever. That will only work if you're including meat. It will not work if you're vegan. It will not. Maybe for shoving 50 pounds of fiber in, I guess. Assuming you're a gorilla.
loss, then you can certainly do that as well. So let's get into it.
I wonder how many calories a gorilla could eat per day. I haven't looked it up, but like a female gorilla, because I think female gorillas are more human size, human weight in particular. I wonder how much they eat. I'm sure it's still more than any human.
So for our breakfast, we're going to be making overnight berry protein oats. It's super delicious and also really easy. What we're going to be doing is taking all of our meal prep containers and adding all of the dry ingredients. And all you need to do is add a few ingredients before you go to bed every night, and you're going to have delicious oatmeal to look forward to in the morning. So for this meal prep, we're going to be preparing 4 days of food. So we're going to have 4 servings for every single meal. I have 3 containers here for breakfast because we already made some overnight oats last night, so you can see what the finished product looks like. We'll get to that right after I show you the recipe. So the first step is adding 1 cup or 85 grams of rolled oats to each container. The next step is to add 1 tablespoon of chia seed, which is 10 grams. Next, we're going to add 1 tablespoon or 6 grams of ground flaxseed. Flaxseed is one of the best sources of whole food omega-3s. Once you add the ground flaxseed,
Except it's not, because they don't have vitamin D3. No.
add 2 scoops or 1 serving, which is 37 grams of KOS vanilla protein powder.
That's not a supplement? That protein powder is not a supplement? I thought you said no supplements. How is a protein powder not a supplement? How is it not considered a supplement? That's definitely not a food. It's not even made like a food. It's a powder. Hello. Have you seen some of these supplements, like for kids and stuff? They put them in drinks. They're like these powders you put in drinks. They're supplements.
You can use whatever protein powder you want, but that's the one that we're going to use. Okay, so now we have all of our dry ingredients in our meal prep container for the overnight oats. Now what we're going to want to do every night before we go to bed is add the soy milk, blueberries, and banana. And then we're also
How? Soy milk? I've had tofu. I'm sure soy milk tastes exactly the way tofu does. Bitter, disgusting. It just, soy milk, blueberries, and bananas. I'm very sure you still get that aftertaste. Holy, gross.
be adding a Brazil nut in the morning. Now, if you want to go ahead and add the other ingredients and store it in your refrigerator, you're welcome to do that. I prefer my overnight oats to taste a little more fresh, and that's why I like adding these other ingredients before I go to bed every night. So whether you add these ingredients the night before or you do it all at once and leave it in your fridge, here are the next steps. First, you're going to add 1 cup or 240 grams of unsweetened soy milk. Next, stir everything together until you have a smooth consistency. Next, you're going to add the fruit, which is blueberries and banana. For the blueberries, you're going to take 1 mounded half cup, which is about 115 grams, and then you're going to add 1 small banana sliced up, which is about 100 grams of banana. So our overnight oats are all finished. Here are the 4 that we put together. This is actually the one that we put into the fridge last night, and you really can't tell a difference between them other than the fact that this one is more set, so it just feels a little bit more firm in terms of its consistency. So these are super delicious, and all you need to do is throw in the tops, and then you can easily store these in the fridge for a few days, and then it's just grab and go, and that's the beauty of meal prep. And then every morning when you're ready for breakfast, you're going to add our garnish, which is a single Brazil nut, and that is going to add our daily dose of selenium for the day.
I don't know. My brain's just like I can't. I don't know what to say, but this is not. No. Just no.
Okay, so now breakfast is done. Let's move on to lunch. So on the menu for lunch, we have a vegan chicken stir fry with brown rice.
It's not chicken. Vegan. Vegan chicken. It's not chicken. It's not chicken. It is not chicken. Stop calling things chicken. Stop calling things meat. If they're not made of meat, find another name, vegans. Find another name or eat some dang chicken.
Absolutely love this meal, so let's jump in. Okay, so step number 1 is to start cooking the rice. I like to use a rice cooker because it's the easiest way to cook perfect rice every time. I'm also going to be cooking extra rice because I like having rice on hand in the fridge.
Carbs.
To cook brown rice, I like using a 2-to-1 ratio of water to rice. If you don't have a rice cooker, then you can easily make the rice on the stove. So the next step is to make the soy curls. We're going to be placing 360 grams of soy curls into a small to medium-sized bowl and cover that with boiled water so they're
This is not whole food, by the way. None of this is whole food. Are you kidding? You're telling me this is whole food? Whole food plant-based diets and you're eating this? Protein powder isn't whole food either. Definitely not whole food.
completely submerged. Then we're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes. While the soy curls are soaking, prep all of your veggies for the stir fry. The first veggie that we're going to prepare is onion. We're going to slice 500 grams, which is about 1.5 medium onions. Next, we're going to slice 3 red bell peppers, which is about 450 grams. Then we're going to cut broccoli into florets. We want 1,050 grams of broccoli. Then we're going to mince.
Holy crap, that is a lot of broccoli. There's a kilo of broccoli in this whole thing. What the actual freak?
12 garlic cloves, which is about 45 grams. Then we're going to
Gross. Ugh. Ugh. It already sounds like it's going to taste it sounds really gross with the soy. Blah.
chop up 6 scallions. We're going to chop the white part only and reserve the green part for a garnish. Now that we have the veggies prepped, we're going to combine all of the sauce ingredients into a small bowl and stir well to combine them. The first sauce ingredient is miso paste. We're going to add 48 grams, which is about
More freaking soy.
3 tablespoons. The next ingredient is maple syrup. We're going to add 60 grams.
Ew. Soy and maple syrup? Gah.
Which is about 3 tablespoons. After that, we'll add rice vinegar. We're going to add 42 grams, which is 3 tablespoons. Then we're going to add 150 grams of tamari, which is about 12 tablespoons. The next ingredient is chili sauce. You can use a garlic chili sauce or any type of chili or hot sauce that you want. We're going to add 1 tablespoon or 18 grams. Next, we're going to add arrowroot powder or cornstarch. We're going to use 18 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons.
The carbs in this. The carbs.
Finally, we're going to add 132 grams of water or 9 tablespoons. All right, so now we have all of our veggies chopped and prepared, and we have our sauce ready to go. So the soy curls are done soaking, and now what we want to do is remove the excess water. So I'm just going to do this over the sink and try to get rid of as much water as possible. If I had a bigger strainer, that would be easier, so I do recommend getting a bigger strainer. But you also want to be sure that you are applying some pressure to squeeze out some excess water. Another way that you could do this is by draining the moisture and then putting all the soy curls on a towel and then squeezing the rest of the moisture out of them. But we got our soy curls ready to go, so now it's time to start sauteing. So this is the biggest pan that I have. It's not going to be able to fit the volume of all of these ingredients. So we're going to get 2 pans going. I have this one under the overhead camera so you can see what I'm doing in making the stir fry. And we're going to keep this one over on the stove here. So now we're going to add our onion and a little water to a non-stick saute pan, and we're going to saute.
I feel bad for this dude because he's probably a newer guy. If not, I haven't found out how long he's vegan. I don't care to look around and all that stuff. I feel so bad. He's going to go downhill so fast if he hasn't already. Maybe he's faking this. Who knows? He can't feel too good after any of this stuff.
That on medium heat until the onions become slightly browned. Once the onions are slightly browned, we're going to add the garlic and chopped scallions, and we're going to continue to saute that for another minute or 2. After that, we're going to add our red bell peppers to the pan and continue stirring that until all of these ingredients are combined. If you need to add a small amount of water to prevent sticking, you can certainly do that. Right after adding the red bell pepper to the pan, we're going to start to air fry our soy curls. So we're going to place them inside the air fryer basket and cook them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for 7 to 10 minutes. They should be crispy and slightly brown on the outside, but not completely hard. I recommend that you check them after about 5 minutes. Depending on how many days you are meal prepping for, you might have to cook the soy curls in 2 batches. Once the bell peppers have begun to soften, then add the broccoli and cover the pan. Cook that for about 5 to 7 minutes until the broccoli is fork tender, but still bright green. Now it's time to add the sauce to your stir fry mixture. Once the soy curls are done in the air fryer, stir them into the veggies and sauce. Then once you've stirred in the soy curls, you can add your spinach. Cook for another few minutes to let the soy curls absorb all the flavor and also allow the spinach to wilt. Then once it's done cooking,
I still don't agree with spinach. I don't care if it's been cooked. I don't care.
portion your rice and the chicken stir fry into 4 equal portions. I like putting the rice on the bottom and the chicken stir fry on the top. Once you are done, add the green
Of course you do, because rice is horrible.
scallions as a garnish. All right, so that's it for meal prep. We have 4 amazing meals. We got the vegan chicken stir fry with rice, and these are absolutely delicious. This is a really great meal, and it's packed with nutrition. So that's lunch. Let's jump into dinner. All right, so for dinner, we're gonna be having protein pasta with tofu and veggies. So the pasta that we're gonna be using is this Banza.
More soy. Dude, you're not gonna be a dude for long. Just saying.
Chickpea pasta is absolutely delicious and it's packed with plant protein, so really looking forward to having that. And then we also have some extra firm tofu, which is actually going to be the first thing that we're preparing. So the tofu
Oh my gosh, the amount of soy and tofu in particular.
takes the longest to cook, and we're going to start with that. So we're going to be baking the tofu in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees C. While the oven is preheating, slice each block of tofu into 8 equal slabs. So for this recipe, for 4 days of meal prep, we're going to have a total of 16 slabs from the 2 blocks. To make
This cannot be very cheap. Buying 4 days worth of this crap, it still can't be very cheap. It must be difficult. It has to be. I don't get how this would be simple.
sure that you have an equal width for all of the slabs, I recommend cutting the tofu block in half, and then in half again, and then in half again. Once you cut up your tofu, lay them flat on a cutting board to apply seasoning. So you can basically use whatever seasonings you want for your tofu. A few that I really love are the Perfect Pinch by McCormick. These are really delicious. This is the Cajun one. We have lemon and pepper. One of my favorites is actually Caribbean Jerk, but we don't have any of that right now in our pantry. So that's something else that you can try. And if you want a sodium-free alternative, you can get the salt-free Dash flavors, which are also really great as well. For this recipe, I'm going to be using the lemon and pepper flavor. Be sure to apply an even coat of seasoning across all of the tofu. Tofu doesn't really have a taste, so it's really important that you flavor it properly. I find that it helps if you massage.
Tofu doesn't have a taste? Really? Your taste buds must be dead. Do you smoke too, buddy? 'Cause, there are a lot of people that are actually super tasters. And I think most people are. They really taste it. Unless you're, I feel like even if you're not a super taster, you'll taste the tofu just enough and you'll be like, blah, gross. No, tofu has a taste. What is wrong with you?
The seasoning into the tofu a little bit to make sure that it sticks. I also want to note that you don't need to press your tofu for this recipe. Just be sure that you are using extra
Oh, right. If you're low on zinc. I forgot.
firm tofu. Next, grab a baking sheet and line it with aluminum foil. This makes it easier to clean up after. Aluminum foil also helps to ensure that the tofu doesn't stick to the baking sheets. We're going to coat the aluminum foil with seasoning. Once you have coated the aluminum foil in seasoning, lay the tofu down on the sheets.
Nice dose of aluminum. Yum.
Place the tofu in the oven and set a timer for 30 minutes. We're gonna flip the tofu at the 30-minute mark, but while the tofu is baking, we're gonna get started with the pasta. Fill a pot with water and bring it to a boil. While the water is getting to a boil, we're gonna start preparing our sauce. Chop up 336 grams or about 16 cups of kale. In my opinion,
Oh my Lord. So if this is going to be 4 days worth, you're eating roughly 4 cups of kale in this entire meal. I see a hospital stay in your future. Not that I'm wishing it, of course, but it will be inevitable because nope.
the stems in the kale are a little tough, so I like removing those. Once the water is boiling, we're gonna add 340 grams or 12 ounces of the Banza chickpea pasta. This is measured dry and it ends up being about 1.5 boxes. We're gonna cook the pasta according to the directions on the back of the box. It says 7 to 9 minutes and we're gonna set a timer for 8 minutes. Be sure to stir this occasionally. While the pasta is boiling, we're gonna start to simmer our sauce. For the 4 days of meal prep, we're gonna be using 4 cups of pasta sauce, which ends up being 1,000 grams. Bring the pasta sauce to a simmer and then add 2 cups or 312 grams of edamame plus the kale.
You already added soy to this. Isn't edamame another soy thing? Dude, what the actual heck? What the heck?
The pan that I use here is a little small, so if you're prepping multiple days of meals at the same time, I recommend using a larger pan. Once the pasta is done, strain it and set it off to the side. Once the oven timer goes off, flip the tofu and bake for another 15 minutes. Once the kale wilts, add the sauce to the pasta. Then we're gonna take our baked tofu and slice it into smaller pieces. Now that the
I just can't. I can't with all the soy. I don't get it. It's 2023. How come nobody's cluing into this yet? And all of his comments are so positive. Like, oh my gosh, this is so great. Like, you really helped me and inspired me. Blah, 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 blah. Which, to me, means he deletes anything that's about meat.
pasta and tofu are prepared, we're going to divide it into 4 even.
If anyone can find me a comment somebody posted about, being like on the vegan diet for a while and like this is gonna kill you one day, like saying that kind of stuff, copy it, paste it, put it in my comments. I want to see if, yeah. Because I'm certainly not looking through all the crap. Like, all of his comments are just so uplifting and positive. Vegan brain death. Vegan brain death. They're becoming brain dead. They are.
Portions. Now that we portion out the pasta, we're gonna add some highly nutritious garnishes. First, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon or 3 grams of sunflower seeds. Then we're gonna add 1 tablespoon or 8 grams of nutritional yeast. And finally, we're gonna add 1 teaspoon or 1 gram of dulse flakes. Dulse flakes are a type of seaweed that is an excellent source of iodine. Once you've added the dulse flakes, go ahead and add 4 slabs of the baked tofu to each dish. So now that we finished making our dinner, let's break down all of the nutrition. All right, so here's the nutrition breakdown for our entire high protein.
It's not going to be absorbed. It's plant nutrition. It's for plants. It's what's in the plants. It's not meant for human consumption. It's not meant for nutrition. These plants are not meant for nutrition. They're not.
Vegan meal prep. We have all the breakfast ingredients, lunch, dinner, and here are the total calories. So every single day we're coming in at 2,576 calories. And
Not enough for you. Not enough. I bet you're starving all the time. And behind the scenes, you're snacking. You're snacking.
And 164.5 grams of plant protein. All right, so
Which is not absorbed. Barely at all.
one quick thing I want to note here is that this calorie target is about maintenance for me, which means it's about the number of calories that I burn on average every single day. So my body composition, if I follow this calorie target, is basically going to be staying the same. I'm not going to be
No, it won't. No, it won't.
losing body fat or gaining body fat.
Yeah, you will. You'll be losing body fat, if anything, actually. And you'll be losing muscle. You'll be losing everything.
And I might be able to increase my lean muscle a little bit over time, but my body.
No, you won't. You definitely won't.
composition won't be changing too much. Here it says that I'm burning 2,200 calories per day, but I've done more precise calculations on my activity level and it's more like 2,600. This calorie target might be a caloric surplus for you or a caloric deficit, so you might need to adjust your
So if we measured the body like this, if we measured this through calories, you're over. You're using up over, so yeah, you're gonna lose.
Intake according to your fitness goals.
Everything.
So all of these days of eating are packed with high quality plant protein, but the coolest part about this meal plan is that we actually hit all of our nutrition targets with 0 supplements. That can be a little challenging to do, so let me highlight exactly how we did that. The number one supplement that most vegans should consider taking is vitamin B12, and the way that we did this without supplementation is we added nutritional yeast. So
You didn't mention that in your prep. Unless I missed it. Because my brain, like I said, was going...
you can see the breakdown of all the different ingredients within this meal plan that contributed to vitamin B12, but nutritional yeast really tops the list at about 250% of our total daily recommended intake.
Not methylated.
Another thing that many vegans supplement for is omega-3 fatty acids, and the way that we accomplished all of our intake needs without supplements was by using chia seeds and ground flour.
Already proven to be wrong. You can't absorb it that way. Nothing else is in there either. You don't get your vitamin D3. Not D2, but D3. There's a lot you're missing out here. There's so much.
Flax seeds. So you can see where those are clocking in for the day, and that was part of our breakfast, so that's a really great thing to add to boost your omega-3 content. There are also a few minerals that I want to draw your attention to. The first is iodine, and the way that we got our iodine into our diet was by adding the dulse flakes, so just getting...
Huh. I don't know what that is. Is that some kind of seaweed ground thing? Because I don't think you can get iodine through any other plant source. And even then, I don't think you're absorbing it as well as you would if you were to eat fish or something. Which I can't stomach it. I'm sorry. I don't agree with Bart that fish is inherently bad. I don't agree with anyone that fish is inherently bad unless you're eating, like, dolphin or something. But if you're eating shellfish or whatever... you can eat it. I don't have anything against eating shellfish, but I think red meat is the ultimate thing that humans should be eating, is how I feel. I'm not here telling you, like, and this is where people, like, I lost a friend over this because he's like, you're not always right, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? And he thinks that it's my way or no way. That's how he thinks I operate. It's because of how I word things. People don't like to listen to how I word things, or they twist it. They twist it. They don't take into account how I actually word things. But I am right when it comes to human biology. I'm not about your fifis. I don't care about fifis. I don't care about how you feel. I care about human biology. We are old. Our bodies are old. Our DNA is old, right? There's slight changes, but we're basically the same humans that we were 100,000+ years ago. There were Homo sapiens back then. But what I'm trying to say is, I think that you can eat fish, but in the end, I think red meat beats everything else. I really, really do. Because I find that fish, anything like fish, chicken, anything like fish and poultry, I find I lose weight and I can't afford to lose weight. So, red meat all the way.
Some seaweed into your diet can really boost your iodine intake, so you don't need to worry about supplementing that in some other form.
So I guess that is a ground seaweed type of thing.
And the other mineral that I want to point out is selenium. Just eating 1 Brazil nut per day gets
I heard 2, but okay.
all of your required daily intake of selenium. Arguably the most...
But I'm not really against eating Brazil nuts because people will eat them on keto as well. But I am against I'm against excessive plant intake. That's what I'm against.
important amino acid for building or maintaining lean muscle mass is leucine, and the way that we got most of our leucine into our diet was by adding some protein powder and rolled oats.
Protein powder is a supplement. It is. It is. I'm very sure it is. I'm very, very sure it is. By the way, they're very dangerous for the kidneys. Is that the only thing that's in there? Because that's not enough protein either. You need all the proteins. All of them. All of them. You can't just have one.
As you can see here, the one micronutrient that we didn't meet the required daily intake for was vitamin D. The only ways to get
Ha 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 ha. You'll get it in animal food. You won't get it in your fantasy vegan lifestyle diet.
natural vitamin D on a vegan diet without supplementation or without using fortified foods, which is basically the same thing as supplementation, is by 1, going out and getting natural sunlight exposure, or 2,
which you're not going to be able to convert to vitamin D3 if you're not taking in the proper fat, which you're not. You don't even take in coconut oil. I still think you should be eating animal fat in order to get the fat you needed to, synthesize to make your cholesterol turn into vitamin D or whatever, however that goes.
eating mushrooms. I'm personally not really a fan of mushrooms, but I love getting out in the sun, so that's where I get all my natural vitamin D. But
what about when it gets into the cooler parts of the day or when there's no sun?
during the colder months when I can't really get outside and get sun exposure, I do supplement with vitamin D.
Okay. But you realize you need D3, not D2, right? Right? No? You'll figure it out the hard way, buddy.
So that's it for this video. Don't forget to download all of these recipes plus nutrition breakdowns and grocery lists by clicking the link in the description. Thanks so much.
Well. Interesting. Very interesting. So. Wow. Just wow. So I'm going to search up some Frank Tufano stuff. Yeah, we'll see what happens from there. Horrendous. Anyways, later guys.